good. Because what does the prophet look like in the community outside of church? And I want to begin to suggest this afternoon that the prophet is one who reverberates in the halls of history. That the prophet is one who reverberates in the hall of history. What does the prophet look like? The prophet looks like a Martin. The prophet looks like a Malcolm. The prophet looks like a Rosa. The prophet looks like a Mary McLeod Bethune. The prophet looks like a Ida B. Wells Barnett. You see, there's something that I begin to understand when I begin to understand that a prophet is always generating and creating futures that have not yet existed. Well, before there was a Rosa, there was an Ida B. Wells. They don't talk about it much, but back in, I believe it was 1884, that Ida was sitting on a train. She had purchased a first class train ticket back in Memphis, Tennessee. And there were some white individuals that saw her in the first class, regardless of her purchasing her ticket. They wanted her up and they wanted her out. And Ida B. Wells, if anybody knows anything about her, this woman is about 5'1", 110 pounds, soaking wet. But she put up a fight. Her story actually says that she bit one of the white men. But something happened, Archbishop, that I love about it. And this is the part that I believe that makes Ida B. Wells so prophetic. She didn't just allow the experience to happen, she also wrote about it. And it's time for us as prophets outside of our church community to start getting into documentation. So what did she do? She didn't go on and just document, but she did what Apostle Luther Blackwell was talking with us earlier concerning the ark, when he said legalize, because there legalization. Why is that? Because she went to sue the Tennessee Railroad, and she won. She won $500. She asked for $5,000, and they ended up giving her the tithe. That's another message. She ended up winning it. But further on, and one of the things I want to talk about is in 1898, say 1898. 1898, we have Ida B. Wells. Watch this. They say, Archbishop, she's the first female investigative journalist. That's what they say. That's what they say. But she really is the creator of investigating journalism. Because she had 3 friends, Archbishop, back in Tennessee that ended up getting lynched. They were store owners. They were black store owners. And when they got lynched, she ended up coming back. She got word about it, and she did an investigation, because prior to that, people would only believe what they read in the newspapers, which means as prophets, we're supposed to be creating the narratives. Oh, I can't get help during this prophetic and social activism portion. So there's something that she began to do. She wrote about it. When she wrote about it, she began to start changing the mindset of America and how they viewed the acts that was taking place. I want to suggest, as we move to our next question, that the prophet is an individual that is willing to put their life on the line, so to hold other individuals to account. When I look in my Bible in 1 Kings chapter 14, it was the prophet Samuel that was putting his life on the line when he saw Saul, and Saul rented his garment as the kingdom was leaving him. When I look at 1 Kings chapter 15, and I begin to see Ahijah, the Shilonite, who was a prophet, who began to speak a word to a Jeroboam at the time. You see, I am putting my life on the line so that I can hold other individuals to account. Hello, the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19. When he was there, he was speaking a word, running for his life, seeing a captain in his 53 times. He saw the captain in the 53 times. He was running for his life. Why is that? He spoke a word to Ahab. The prophet is one that puts their life on the line to hold other individuals to account. That's why we have an 8th century prophet in Amos that begins to go out in Amos chapter 5, verse 24. He speaks, let judgment flow like rivers, if I'm not mistaken, and let righteousness flow like a stream. So my third question that I want to present is, what is the prophet's responsibility as it relates to social injustices? What is the prophet's responsibility as it relates to social injustices? Because the prophet is supposed to be a remarkable contribution. Panel.
I'll hop in just for a second. So again, using the Moses model, right? When you're talking social justice or injustices, and there are few elements in Scripture where the Lord, you can provoke the Lord's action, and one of them is oppression, right? When you oppress a people and when there is injustice. And so when it comes to that, the prophet in that role is to confront. It is to confront and to not be afraid of their faces, to stand flat-footed. And that's where the difference between Moses and Pharaoh's magicians, right, was, you know, they had power, he had power, right? But the Bible said at the end of the day, you know, he throws down his rod, it becomes a snake, and they do the same thing. But at the end of the day, the power of the prophet and the government that's backing the prophet, the government system of heaven that's backing the prophet, then will marshal the resources that will back up whatever you declare will take place if they don't release, they don't let go, they don't lift the oppression, even when it comes to even the criminal justice system, right? When it comes to that, the prophet has to stand flat-footed and be bold, know the history, come with a level of awareness and knowledge, understand the laws, and the prophet in those cases have to be well connected with those that can become movers and shakers in order to overturn systems. So that's the role of the prophet when it comes to systems and injustices and things of that nature.
And it's so true. When I was looking at the autobiography of Ida B. Wells, she actually was a school teacher. She had to take care of her family from a young age because of the yellow fever crisis that happened in the 1865. There was something that I learned about it, that she was a school teacher trying to make reform in the education system. They fired her because her mouth was too big. And as a prophet, how many of you know that we're supposed to be the tattletales in the kingdom? Huh? That's why it says he reveals the secrets to his servants, the prophets. All right, we're the big mouths. So she was opening her mouth about what was taking place in the education system. They fired her, and she ended up being an owner of the Memphis, Tennessee Free Speech paper. They burnt down her paper when she did the article for the 3 guys that ended up getting hanged. She comes back again and doesn't stop the investigative journaling, because as a prophet, we can never budge on Pharaoh's payroll. All right, let's see what social injustices, the prophet and social injustice.